I'd like to call to order the North Bend City Council regular session agenda city council meeting for Tuesday, January 26th. And I'd like to ask our new finance director, Jessica Terra, to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just turned a couple shades of red. Uh-oh.
Knocking mics over. Good evening and welcome to our meeting this evening. Number 2 on the agenda is to go over our consent calendar. We're going to have the city administrator walk us through a couple items that are on here, A, B, and C. We have approved the minutes.
Thank
We'll start with that.
Madam Mayor. On your consent agenda, and for the benefit of the public, all of these items are discussed at a work session, and if there's a consensus, it remains on consent agenda and the council takes a vote on all of these. Before you on your consent agenda is the approval of the minutes for your January 12th, 2021 meeting, the approval of the bills presented against the city for the time period of January 8th through 21st, 2021. Accounts payable checks were for $107,655.08. And ACH fund transfers were for $28,152.71. And then you have before you the city attorney agreement, which is a renewal agreement.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the consent agenda? I will entertain a motion then to approve.
I move we approve the consent calendar as presented.
I hear first.
Second.
And a second. And any other discussion? All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 3 on the agenda tonight is public comment, and I believe we do not have public comment tonight, correct? No public comment. So moving on to number 4 on the agenda is resolution 3297, authorizing bank signatures. City manager is directing us to page 16 of our packet for that.
Madam Mayor and Council, what you have before you is a bit of housekeeping. We've had a change in our finance director. So we will be adding Jessica Terra to the bank records and removing Renee Collins. So it takes a resolution of the council in order for the bank to proceed.
Okay. Does the council have any questions about that resolution? All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve resolution number 3297.
Second.
I heard a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving resolution 3297, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Number 5 on the agenda is the award of our FY 2020-2021 state revenue sharing community grants. We have some information on that on page 19 of our packet. We did have a little bit of a discussion about this last night. And there was a conversation of having the mayor approve $1,000 to the SMART program, $1,000 to the Common Ground mediation, $1,000 to the SAFE project, $1,000 to South Coast Business Employment Corp, Area Agency on Aging, $1,000 to the Knights of Columbus, $1,000 to Coos Curry Area Transit District, $1,000 to the Boys and Girls Club of Southwestern Oregon, $1,000 to Southern Oregon Veterans Outreach, $1,000 of Oregon Coast Community Action, and so our total amount that we can award is $9,500. That would bring us to $9,000. So then we would have $500 that we could award to Operation Rebuild Hope. And we had discussion about helping them with their parking lot lines. So this could be the $500 for materials. And we could also have a conversation then about having a second motion to finish the work with the labor in in-kind support. So what I'd like to do is those items that I just listed, including Operation Rebuild Hope, comes to $9,500. And I believe the city administrator said that I can appoint those, but I still would need a motion to accept that appointment. Is that correct? All right. So I would entertain a motion then to move forward with the 9,500 to the nonprofits that I listed.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Okay, here first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor then is for accepting the motion. Is what am I trying to say here? Yes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So do we need to take care of that business about the in-kind services to Operation Rebuild Hope now?
All right, so Madam Mayor, and for the benefit of the council, as you recall, there was about a rough estimate of $1,500 to $2,000, give or take, in order to do this assignment. There's roughly about $500 in materials, so this will cover the materials. It's going to be a direction of the council as to what it wants to do regarding the staff labor that would be required. You have a couple options. You're the governing body. You can actually mandate and we'll go do it. You can have us do it and potentially take 1,000 out of the immediate next year's funds when they're available to reimburse, or you can have them apply on second round. We intend to come to you with the funding sheet during the budget cycle to sort of streamline the process. It still requires us to have our public hearings. So you have a couple options before you. It's really the will of the council.
Okay. So I will ask the council, what do you think is the best way to proceed then?
Well, I think I like the idea of taking care of it and then backing it out of the $9,500 next year.
I totally agree with you there, Bill.
I think that Brian's home is, I mean, just the upgrades to that building have improved the sights of that part of the city. I mean, just driving through town now and not seeing that eyesore that was there, the work that they've done to improve that building has really improved what it feels like to come into town. And I think it's a small order to say that we would work with them to get that striping done. And I do agree. I think that we could just take it out next year and say, hey, we're going to help you. We're going to help you finish this project. It's going to help our veterans. It's already helped our community. So
I kind of think that's what this little deal is all about.
Yep. So I agree.
So then, Eric, did I hear a motion?
Yes.
Second. I'll second that.
Whatever I said is a motion.
So I believe I heard Councilor Gleason have a motion to use, let's see.
May I?
Yes,
All
actually,
right.
Councilor Nordoff has this.
All right. The motion is that the council authorize the expenditure of the $500 in materials and in an additional up to $1,500 in labor in order to accomplish the required work on the parking lot for Brian's home.
Okay.
And take it out of
With the
and
intent.
take it out of
Yeah.
21 state revenue sharing grant money.
Right.
So now all you have to do is to get the maker of the motion to accept all those small amendments and just say so move and get a second
Yeah.
and then you go to a vote.
All right.
Well, the only difference is
So
we're gonna
move.
take the money out of next year's budget.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Okay, so moved. Did I hear a second?
Second.
Second. So all in favor
Nice job.
of taking the money out of next year's budget
For the 15.
to finish for 1,500, up to 1,500 for
Finish the
finishing the
project today.
labor.
Yes.
Was there any discussion? Let's see. So we had a first, we had a second. I heard, or no other discussion?
No.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
That was painful.
Made it through that one.
She's still writing over there though.
Haley's like, I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to write.
All right.
Oh, it's okay.
Good, that's great.
That'll be
Let's
good.
see. Okay, so we are on to number 6 of the agenda for the city administrator's report.
This is the finance director's first official city council meeting. Jessica
Nope.
Tara, I'm looking down at what I'm reading. Jessica Engelke is now our new finance director, and our new mayor. Our new mayor is Jessica Terra, who comes from us from Resport. And since we've already had her go one shade of red, we're going to do that again. Jessica, if you want to come up very briefly, introduce yourself, give a little background, and realize that you're also live on TV. Feel free to use the chair.
Have a chair, please.
Hundreds of thousands of people
My
watching.
name is Jessica Terra, and I worked 13 years for the city of Reedsport. My last position there was finance director, so I have about 3 years experience behind me. Since then, I've worked for a small city in Southern California, and most recently came from the city of Eugene, all in the finance department. Lived in Reedsport pretty much all my life. I moved there when I was young, so I've gone through the school system, pretty familiar with the area. And very excited to be here.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Yeah.
Very happy to have you here.
Very happy.
Thank you, Jessica. We're very proud and very glad that we were able to recruit and offer a position because we've got yet another top-notch finance director here at the city. A couple highlights. You have a copy of the city administrator's report. It is also posted online for public inspection under our agenda section. First highlight, I had mentioned this in a previous meeting when disc golf had come up. We have gone ahead and started our pilot. We're going to do that through the winter months. A pilot means that, we've heard pros and cons on both sides, and we don't know whether or not those are valid or not. So we have actually created temporary baskets that will actually take a backhoe to put out, but they're not permanently installed. Those will be moved out either later this week or next week, and they'll be there for the summer months. Meanwhile, we've put on our social media and our website asking and soliciting for folks to give us feedback so that we have an opportunity. We'll then present that feedback to the Parks Committee because the council actually gave us some directive to send to the Parks Committee. So they'll evaluate that and then we'll report back. So that is in progress. And it is just that's a pilot to see whether or not it even works in that park. A big shout out to the North Bend Library. The North Bend Library was one of 200 libraries that participated in a Libraries Transforming Communities Focus on Small Rural Libraries grant program, and they were awarded a $3,000 grant. And so they'll be working with some online conversations with Hopkins and North Bend school students. So that is a great thing over there. And those are the two highlights from City Administrator's report.
Great. Thank you. Was there any council committee reports? Have we had any council meetings so far? Or any council committee reports? Yes.
I would just like to touch on the upcoming Parks Board meeting in February. In my opinion, I'm just the liaison between council and the board, but I believe that to meet with state law, that the Parks Board is required to keep meeting minutes, and I am going to be recording the meeting, just like I always recorded Gardner Sanitary and Gardner Fire. I think it really prevents any dust-ups on records, on votes, on attendance, on anything, if you have a recording. And I do believe that the Parks Board will elect a vice chairman, and I believe that it should be that person who makes the reports to council as to which is required, because the Parks Board goings on are recorded in the council minutes. They are not really kept separate. It's state law that an advisory board reports back to the umbrella body, and the goings-ons of the lower body are recorded in the minutes of the larger body. So that's how I believe it should be run. Now, I'm just the liaison, but I think that it's appropriate that that start happening, and I think that it should be someone from the board. It's not a committee, it's a board, has a section of city code. Someone from the board should be making the reports to the council on a regular basis.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
clarification, this is not, this is an advisory committee. There is the
Well,
chapter, please, if I may, I'm finished.
Go ahead.
You need to be recognized by the chair. There is a code in city code, which I mentioned to this governing body. Will actually be bringing to you a recommendation to repeal that. That code has nothing to do with your council committee. That piece of code was actually, we researched it. It was actually created back when you actually had Parks and Recreation, and they were actually responsible for the pool, the parks, the visitor information center. So what you have is you have a council committee, and that council committee is a committee of this governing body. You appoint individuals, and then you meet. So there, she's absolutely right. There are specific state requirements for advisory committees, but let's not confuse it with the piece of code that is sort of defunct and non-existent, very much like your airport code. And so you'll see that most likely in your February meeting cycle.
So, Mr. City Administrator, what I'm hearing you say is that that as the advisory meeting, or as the advisory committees that we have, several of them, the practice right now is not to have official meeting minutes, but we do have a chair of the committee that should be responsible for either appointing a chair and deciding then as a group how to come forward with that communication.
Correct. The committees operate as an arm. They're your committees. So very different from that code. You select the committees. The chair is the individuals that you appoint and then confirmed by the governing body. I do believe, and we are asking the city attorney to actually do a little bit of training to the committees before they get started, is that there are requirements under the open records laws of the state, open meetings laws, et cetera. It would not be appropriate, for instance, if one of you all individually recorded it in your capacity as an elected official. Anything you create anyway is subject to open records, but it would never be the official record. So the committees actually are responsible for reporting back to you, and those committees actually have certain requirements under the open meetings and open records laws. And that's something that the city recorder, myself, and the city attorney are going to be working with, so that when those committees meet before the first meeting, there will be actually a little training to the committee so that we all stay in accordance with the law. But they're actually reporting back to you as a governing body to take action. They cannot take action.
Okay, Councilor Nordoff, did you want to add a comment?
Well, then my comment is where in our agenda does the Parks Board offer their happenings? You know, once every 2 months, they come in and their goings-on are supposed to be recorded in the council's meeting minutes. Where is that going to happen?
So right now in this section, so when we go, like tonight for council committee reports, if there had been a meeting, then it would be most likely the chair who reports out.
Okay,
and
I'm good.
Just
That's
for
good.
what it's worth, I do think that we need to have better detailed notes and communications of maybe what we have seen in the past. And that'll be up to the chair and the group kind of to how to organize that and to give a full detailed report instead of we met and it was great.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So yes, this would be the appropriate time. So thank you for bringing that up. Was there any other? No. Okay. So number 8 on the agenda is council comments. So let's go ahead and, is there anything from that end?
Nope.
Councilor Fairboat. No, we'll move on to Councilor Richardson.
I really don't have anything tonight either.
Okay. All right. Councilor Slater.
I just wanted to mention that, with the activities and that I've seen in the last couple of months, this really good team that's taking on significant issues that are both right now and tomorrow. And we've got some good, Bill was mentioning thinking outside the box. I like it, creative thinking. There's some really good focus as to what's there. And I think that bodes very well for taking on the issues that are immediately in front of us, but also creating the future that we want to create. So it's nice to be part of that organization.
All right. Go ahead, Councilor Nordoff.
I'm going to be participating in the Zoom meeting at the League of Oregon Cities. It's the day in the Capitol. That's on Thursday, just to see what's going on. I know they have a pretty large subject matter that they've put out and cover a number of issues. So if there's something that looks appropriate for us, I'll give a heads up.
Okay, great. Councilor Gall.
Well, I think we had a really good work session. You know, I've always felt like work sessions are really the heart of this group, but we had a really good one last night about police dispatch and budget concerns and the pool. And I think it went really well. I think Tim just said that we seem to be working good as a team, and I think he's right. I think it's good. I just wanted to comment that I guess I've had quite a few concerns from citizens about the Frisbee golf thing, and so that's not a done deal, right?
No, sir. It's a pilot, and that's exactly how it's been presented to the public, and staff is also. It's actually why we went the extra step. They thought out of the box, and they've created bases that are portable, so we can relocate them to any other final place. Those bases would be removed, and then they would be permanently installed.
So at some point, it's going to be voted on or whatever to yay or nay. So
yeah,
okay.
We're going to give it the winter months.
That makes sense. Okay, and I just wanted to talk, just bring up real quick that Ralph, our great public works director, became a double grandpa early last week, and
Oh, wow.
so that's he's had a lot on his mind, I'm sure, because they just got home. So yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Councilor Gleason.
Good. In an effort to sound like a broken record, I think I have to kind of parrot what we've been talking about as far as the teamwork that we've shown in the first few months of this iteration of the city council. I think there's a lot of different viewpoints that are in this group. And I think that gives us that ability to be creative. I also think that we all have the same goal, that we want our city to be successful, and that includes its people, the staff and the teams that work diligently every day to keep this city running. And I think by us working the way we have and the creativity that we're willing to bring to that, hopefully shows the staff at the city that we want to try to do what's very best for them and the community members that we serve. And I think that we've done a pretty good job of doing that so far, in my opinion. We were elected to do something, and we are creatively doing it together as a team. And I think that shows that there's some resilience to the citizens of our city, and I think in ourselves. I'm excited to see what happens as we continue these conversations, and it's nice to be a part of them. It's been a lot of fun. It's stressful, but it's been a lot of fun. And David, I saw your People at Noon interview, and I wasn't surprised they had to edit it. You were an explainer, but it was really good. I thought you did very well on the People at Noon. I wanted to give you a thumbs up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good.
I'm going to have to look that up.
I was going to say, we could probably, if the citizens are interested in watching that, I'm sure if they go to the KCBY Facebook.
KCBY website, it's right on down at the bottom in the front page, People at Noon, and there he is.
People at Noon, KCBY website. So I too am really happy with, I think the work session, it was a week ago on Monday, where we talked about the goals and the things that we want to accomplish this year. I'm thrilled. I feel the momentum. We're gonna go ahead and focus in on those. And so we're just cruising right along, and I have a great feeling that we're going to be able to achieve some things as a council and get things done. So that was really exciting. And I also want to remind the public too, if they're reading these minutes or if they're listening to tonight's on YouTube, be understand that you can go back and you can watch these sessions on YouTube, and you can watch the work sessions. And there was great information last night about dispatch, and we talked about why we're not moving forward with contracting that out, and we're talking about what we're doing next with the pool. So communication is something that's on all of our minds. So whether it's our city administrator on People at Noon, or our city website, or our Facebook page, we are trying to reach the public in a multitude of ways. And you can even contact the city office and find out different email listservs that you can get on about the committees and the reports that come out with that. So, and I do also want to say thanks again for everyone who, during the goal setting session, we walked over and we participated in the National Memorial for the over 400,000 COVID victims that have passed away. And it was, I think, something that was very meaningful, especially to people in this community who have lost loved ones to COVID. And I appreciate all the hard work that the staff did to put that together. And the lights are still shining in amber and will continue on for another couple weeks. And I also just want to say thank you again, Jessica, Tara, for joining the team. We're really happy to have you here. So I believe that is all I had for this evening. And was there any other business?
Madam Mayor, we have one additional staff add. Last night I had mentioned that we most likely would have one, and we did get word back today, so we'll be adding this to sort of step back. Business Oregon receives federal dollars that come through the state and then get dispersed through a program called the Community Development Block Grant Program. This, you talk about the cooperation among the council and the staff, but it's also the cooperation of the cities with the county. So there are multiple community development block grant opportunities. And so we had been meeting with Coos County, Coos Bay on some of these opportunities because you have to divvy up. There's a lot of work involved on these. So you may have heard in the news or on our social media site, one of the community development block grant programs is a coordinated effort between Coos Bay, and their partner is NeighborWorks Umpqua, and they have a pot of money, $500,000 of funds for home repairs in Coos County and Reedsport. And you say, well, hold it, Coos Bay and Coos County and Reedsport, how's Reedsport? Well, you have to partner, you can partner with cities and counties, et cetera. But the county already had a CDBG going, so they have partnered with Reedsport. So it's a county-wide opportunity, and it's going to provide housing rehabilitation grants up to $15,000 per household. And again, some of the details is on our website and also Coos Bay's. Meanwhile, the county is making application. Had made application and then is now working. Their partner is CCD, and they received in this round $150,000 of funds for what's called the COVID-19 Small Business Assistance and Micro Enterprise projects for COVID-19 impact assistance. So they're able to give grants of $2,500 to $10,000. That grant application process is open right now. I will tell you that the folks in our Public Works and Permitting Office has done great, because when we did the business renewals, we aggressively went after email addresses, and Derek Payne has painstakingly followed up with these businesses to get accurate email addresses. The reason why is if you're a licensed business and we have your valid email address, we blast you and we told you, hey, this is about to open. Get prepared. So we're communicating directly to our businesses where we can help them. So that is the county operating through CCD. You always have to have that partner. So Coos Bay had Umpqua, the county has CCD. So where's the city of North Bend play? Well, you're going to decide that tonight because you have CDBG, and so we're the next largest in the city, in the county. So in a coordinated meeting that Jessica and I attended on Friday, we had chosen to go after another grant opportunity, which is called the COVID-19 Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Our partner would be the Oregon Coast Community Action, or ORCA. They have done other similar programs. However, only a city and county can apply. And since our county and our city are already involved, we would be next up bat. So we said, we're going to go up to bat and help the county. So the city would partner with ORCA. We made a pre-application for $600,000, which would be countywide rental assistance. That means that it's available to households at 80% or below the area median income. Initially, it could pay up to 6 months in arrears where people are behind, because keep in mind, a lot of these folks that have rentals, that's their business. And so this is round one. There will be future rounds. So we're trying to expeditiously go and get round one going, up and running, get the money in the hands, and then potentially go for round two, round three, round four. So this one's for $600,000. We got notification this afternoon, probably 1 or 2 o'clock, give or take, that our preliminary application was accepted, and we're now permitted to move forward with a formal application. And what that means is that we actually have to have a contract with ORCA. We are not going to move forward unless this governing body says you're good to go, because that's going to kick off public hearings that we'll have to schedule. We'll also have to get some of our policies updated, things. There's a lot to do. It's a federal grant. But we want to aggressively go after the money and do our part as part of the coordinated effort throughout the county to help our citizens. So at this point, I'm simply asking that you bless the city to move forward on the process with ORCA, and Business Oregon to apply for the $600,000 in emergency rental assistance grant monies that are available. Thank you.
And is it a consensus, or is it that you are looking forward tonight, or a motion?
A motion is what we need because we're actually going to start working on having contracts written up, agreements, and then we actually have to make the formal application and move forward. So we just can't go further, because then that means we have to have the public hearings and things, and we are not permitted to apply without the blessing of the governing body.
Okay. Councilor Nordoff, did you have a question?
No, I was going to make a
Sure.
motion.
Yeah.
I move that the council authorize the use of staff time and our budget to put together a contract with ORCA and to support a CDBG grant funding for the purpose of rental assistance.
Second.
Heard a first and a second. Was there any discussion? All in favor of Councilor Nordoff's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sounds great. Okay, is there anything else this evening? Councilor, City Administrator, was that it for other business?
That's all.
Okay, well, without further ado then, meeting adjourned.
Is it CCD?